Hey guys, welcome to another Hunter video. I'm a Night Elf Hunter on the Whisperwind server, and I've been getting a lot of questions about what I do for my user interface and also what I use for my key bindings. Now, this is something that works only for me, and I'm only making a video because maybe there's some things or key bindings or ways you could set your keys to help you when you are playing the game on your own Hunter. I know there are a lot of add-ons and a lot of other ways I can make my UI look a lot better, such as add-ons to put all my aspects in one row or all my stings in another, but this works for me and I like the minimalist approach. So let's start first with how I got my UI to look like this. That's very simple. Just press escape and go into the video tab. And there you'll have a UI scale. It usually wouldn't be checked at first, so check it for use UI scale. What this does is basically your UI, how big or small it is. And a lot of times people don't see this griffin to the left and right of the action bar, and that is because their screen size is smaller or not as wide as mine. So I have pretty good eyesight, so I'm gonna just take it down a notch and make it smaller so that this applies for everything like bags or portraits or anything else in the game in terms of UI. Okay, now to get the action bars, the extra action bars that I have on the right and on the top, you go into the interface menu, and under action bars under the game you have bottom left bar, bottom right bar, and right bar 2. So basically, as you can see, I can have one set of right bars, two set of right bars, bars on the left, bottom left, and right. And so as a hunter, unfortunately, we have so many skills we need to keep track of. We have to almost access all of these bars, and as you can see, I almost have everything filled up, and I have very little room to maneuver my skills around. Okay, now without further ado, I'll go into my key bindings. Now with my key bindings, I'll go into my macro screen just to show you what some of the skills or key bindings I have set for. First, it's pet attack, and with pet attack, I basically just cast a hunter's mark and let my pet attack. And again, if you want to see any of the macros that I use, go into my website tribunalxhunter.com and go into the FAQ section under the macros, and I'll have a link to a video describing all the macros that I use. So pet attack I have set to control 1. Control 1, I replaced it with my pet skills because I find that a little more accessible. Control 2 is my pet revive, and it's another macro that revives my pet if it's dead, heals my pet if it's alive, and calls my pet if it's not with me at the time. Control 3 is my shadow meld. Now as a night elf, if you are not having shadow meld on any of your key bindings, or a quick way to get to it, you're not using the night elf race to its full potential. So definitely get your shadow meld onto one of the key bindings. Control 4 is concussive shot, and this is mostly for PvP and a little parts PvE. Control 5 is flare, and that's whenever I'm in any battlegrounds. It'll definitely help with the rogues and the druids. Control 6 is Viper Sting, which was great for PvP, but now is mostly used for my PvE, and even then it's very not used very much. I have Shift G for my Traveler's Tundra Mammoth. Now I also have two other key bindings for my mounts. One is just basically G for my normal mount, and Shift G for my Traveler's Tundra, and that's because Traveler's Tundra takes up so much more room, so I can't run into tunnels or I can't run into buildings because of the sheer size of it. And so I only use it when I actually need the Traveler's Tundra Mammoth. and I have Shift Z for my flying mount, and that's just because Shift and Z are very close to each other, and so I can have access to it quickly. And I use G for my mounts because, I don't know, it wasn't used at the time, so I just decided to use it. I have on my right of the keyboard on the number pad. Now for some of you that use the laptop, you might not have this. I have /delete. What this uses is a macro called aspect, which I use to switch between aspect of the Viper and aspect of the Dragonhawk. I have also on the number pad 0 to use my misdirect macro, and you can also see that again on my FAQ page. What this does is just use misdirect, and I find it very useful because I use the mouse to on the right side of my body, I guess, and I have very easy access to the 0 key, and so I could press 0 at pretty much every single pull that we have in a 5-man or a raid. I also have Killshot. Killshot, what I have set to is the mouse wheel down, and I really like this macro because now this can work for anybody. Whenever I need to use Killshot, and it's very situational, only when the mob is at a certain health and only when it's not on cooldown. Whenever it is in cooldown, I need to not hinder, let's say, my movement. So I have it set to whenever I scroll down on the mouse wheel, it'll cast Killshot, and I find this very advantageous in PvP as well as PvE. So if you're not using the mouse wheel, I definitely recommend you to use it because I love it. I have Distracting Shot on Control D because I thought D for Distracting Shot, it just made sense, and after a while I just got used to the feeling of the keys. Now why I need Distracting Shot, you ask? Well, sometimes in a raid, if let's say both tanks or all 3 tanks die, then I could Distracting Shot the boss, and then I pop my deterrents. And what happens then is I can save the party 6 seconds to continue on DPSing, and that could mean succeeding or failing. I have Feign Death as Control Space. Now the reason I have this is because space is a big bar and very hard to miss, and Feign Death, if you're using Feign Death, most likely you really need to use Feign Death, so I don't want any chance to actually not use it. I also have on the number sign the plus sign. Plus sign is to use my food, whatever I may have. So here I could just use the honey mint tea, and I press the plus sign and I start drinking. And this is very helpful because whenever I need a quick mana break, I can use it in between pulls in a 5-man. Now, what you also need to know as a hunter, and this is very important, is to have very good pet management. And so with pet management, I have attack of my pet set to Shift 1. So whenever I need for him to attack this or attack that, Shift 1, pet goes right away. Also, you need to retract him whenever he's about to attack, or in situations like that. And I have passive to Shift 2. And what happens then is the pet will come back to me and I can control his positioning, and that'll help me a lot as a Beastmaster Hunter. Now, just going over to the normal key bindings, I have Wing Clip number 1, Serpent Sting number 2, Arcane Shot number 3, Steady Shot number 4, or my steady macro, which is my basically rotation. 5 is multi-shot. Now these 5 are what I use the most, and 6 is very situational, but I also use that very much, which is Disengage. 7 is Hunter's Mark, but I may replace that because right now I'm only using it as a way to see whenever it's on cooldown, which doesn't really apply anymore since it lasts 5 minutes on the mob now. 8 is for my freezing arrow. 9 is for kill command. Again, it's just to see when the kill command is back up, because kill command is part of my rotation and the steady macro, which I'll have also on my FAQ page. 0 is Master's Call, very important for a hunter. The dash is Deterrence, and I win, which is my popping all my cooldown macro, is on the equal sign. And that's it for this video. Again, guys, if you want to see all the macros that I use, FAQ page on my website. If you want to see all the key bindings that I have set here, and what I have set to, then go into my website as well, tribunalxhunter.com. On this post, I'll have all the key bindings listed. And don't forget, I also have actually one more key binding, and that's to press down on my mouse wheel. Now, maybe not all mouses have this, but for me, if I press down on my mouse wheel, I auto run, and I don't know what I would do without this. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and take care. Till next time.